never tell your adult children these 5 things. Have you ever walked away from a conversation with your adult child feeling confused, frustrated, or even hurt? You meant well. You were trying to help. You were offering advice, sharing wisdom, or expressing concern. Yet somehow, the conversation ended in tension, silence, or distance. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. One of the biggest challenges parents face is learning how to adjust their relationship with their children once they become adults. The parenting skills that worked when they were 10 years old often don't work when they're 30. As parents, we never stop caring. We never stop wanting the best for our children. But adult relationships require a different approach. They require respect, boundaries, and communication that strengthens connection rather than control. Today, we're going to talk about 5 things you should never tell your adult children if you want to maintain a healthy, loving, and respectful relationship. These statements often come from good intentions. They aren't usually meant to hurt, but over time, they can create resentment, undermine confidence, and damage trust. Let's dive into the 5 phrases that can quietly push adult children away, and what to say instead. Number 1. You should have listened to me. This phrase might seem harmless. After all, maybe you were right. Maybe you warned them about that relationship. Maybe you advised against that business venture. Maybe you told them not to buy that expensive car or move across the country. And perhaps everything happened exactly as you predicted. But when an adult child is struggling with the consequences of a decision, hearing "you should have listened to me" rarely helps. In fact, it often makes things worse. Why? Because the statement isn't really offering support. It's highlighting their mistake. It's reminding them that they failed. It's shifting the focus from solving the problem to proving who was right. Adult children, like all adults, need the freedom to make their own choices, even when those choices lead to disappointment. Mistakes are one of life's greatest teachers. When parents repeatedly point out past errors, adult children may begin to feel judged rather than supported. Over time, they may stop sharing their struggles altogether. Think about it. If every difficult situation leads to an "I told you so," why would they come to you when they need encouragement? Instead of feeling safe, they begin to feel evaluated. Instead of feeling understood, they feel criticized. A better response might be, "I'm sorry you're going through this. How can I help?" Notice the difference. One statement focuses on the past. The other focuses on the present. One creates shame. The other creates connection. Your adult child already knows what happened. They don't need a reminder. They need someone who believes they can recover, learn, and move forward. Being right is rarely as important as being supportive. And often, the strongest relationships are built not on proving a point but on offering compassion. Number 2. When I was your age. Many parents begin advice with this phrase. When I was your age, I already owned a house. When I was your age, I was raising 3 children. When I was your age, I worked 2 jobs. When I was your age, I didn't complain. While these statements may be true, they often create an unfair comparison. The world your adult children live in is not the same world you grew up in. Housing costs are different. Employment markets are different. Technology has transformed nearly every aspect of life. Social pressures are different. Economic realities are different. Comparing generations can unintentionally minimize the challenges your adult children face. What they often hear isn't wisdom. What they hear is, "You're not measuring up." Even if that's not your intention. Every generation faces unique obstacles. Your struggles were real. Their struggles are real too. The goal isn't to determine who had it harder. The goal is understanding. Imagine someone responding to your challenges by saying, "Well, I had it worse." Would that make you feel supported? Probably not. It would likely make you feel dismissed. Adult children want empathy. They want parents who listen before comparing. Instead of saying, "When I was your age," try asking, "What has this experience been like for you?" That simple question opens the door to conversation. Communicates curiosity instead of judgment. It allows your child to feel heard. And feeling heard is often more valuable than receiving advice. Remember, wisdom doesn't always require comparison. Sometimes wisdom simply requires listening. Number 3. That's not a real job. This phrase can take many forms. You're wasting your degree. That career isn't stable. You'll never make money doing that. When are you going to get a real job? For many adult children, career choices are deeply personal. Their work represents more than income. It reflects identity, purpose, creativity, and independence. When parents dismiss a career path, it can feel like they're dismissing the person. Of course, parents worry. You may genuinely fear that your child is making a risky decision. You may want them to have financial security. You may be concerned about their future. Those concerns are understandable. But criticism often closes doors that supportive conversation could keep open. Today's careers look very different than they did decades ago. Many successful professionals work in fields that barely existed a generation ago. Content creators, software developers, digital marketers, remote consultants, online educators, app designers, freelancers, entrepreneurs. The world is changing rapidly. Success no longer follows one predictable path. When parents automatically reject unfamiliar careers, adult children may feel misunderstood. More importantly, they may stop sharing their dreams. Instead of dismissing their work, ask questions. What do you enjoy about it? What are your long-term goals? How do you see this developing over time? These questions communicate respect. They show interest rather than judgment. Even if you don't fully understand their career choice, you can still support their efforts. You don't have to agree with every decision to maintain a healthy relationship. Respect and agreement are not the same thing. Adult children thrive when they know their parents believe in their ability to create their own future. Number 4. After everything I've done for you. This may be one of the most damaging phrases a parent can use, because it transforms love into a transaction. Most parents sacrifice tremendously for their children. You may have worked long hours, given up opportunities, lost sleep, made financial sacrifices, put your children's needs ahead of your own. Those sacrifices matter. They deserve recognition. But when those sacrifices are used as leverage, the relationship changes. Adult children begin to feel indebted rather than loved. They feel guilt instead of gratitude. And guilt is not a healthy foundation for connection. Healthy parent-child relationships are built on generosity, not obligation. When parents repeatedly remind adult children of everything they've done, it can create emotional pressure. The message becomes, "You owe me," and that burden can be heavy. Of course, most adult children appreciate their parents. Many simply don't express it as often as parents would like. But appreciation that is demanded rarely feels genuine. Real gratitude grows naturally, cannot be forced. Instead of saying, "After everything I've done for you," try expressing your feelings directly. You might say, "I miss spending time with you," or "I'd love to see you more often." These statements communicate your needs without creating guilt. They invite connection rather than obligation. And that's an important distinction. The strongest relationships are not maintained through debt. They're maintained through love, mutual respect, and voluntary connection. Your children should spend time with you because they want to, not because they feel they have to. Number 5. You're doing it all wrong. Adult children make choices differently than their parents. They may parent differently, manage money differently, decorate their home differently, spend holidays differently, handle relationships differently, and sometimes parents struggle to accept these differences, especially when they're convinced their way is better. The problem is that constant criticism sends a powerful message. I don't trust your judgment. Over time, adult children may begin avoiding conversations about important areas of their lives. Why? Because they're tired of defending every decision. Imagine sharing exciting news only to receive criticism. Imagine opening up about a challenge and immediately being told everything you're doing wrong. Eventually, most people stop sharing, not because they don't care, but because they don't feel emotionally safe. Now, this doesn't mean parents should never offer advice. Advice can be valuable. The key is understanding when it's welcome. Unsolicited advice often feels like criticism. Requested advice often feels like support. Before offering guidance, consider asking, "Would you like my thoughts on this?" That question shows respect. It acknowledges their autonomy. It gives them a choice. And surprisingly, adult children are often more receptive to advice when they don't feel forced to accept it. Remember, your goal isn't to control their life. Your goal is to remain a trusted source of support. Trust grows when people feel respected. And respect includes allowing others to make decisions that differ from our own, even when we disagree. Why these phrases are so harmful? Let's pause for a moment and look at the bigger picture. All 5 of these statements share something in common. They challenge an adult child's sense of independence. Adult children need 3 things from their parents: respect, trust, acceptance. Not perfection, not constant agreement, not endless advice. Respect, trust, and acceptance. When these needs are met, relationships flourish. When they're absent, distance often follows. Many parents are surprised when adult children become less communicative. But often the issue isn't love. It's emotional safety. Adult children tend to stay connected with people who make them feel understood. People who listen. People who respect boundaries. People who support growth. The good news is that relationships can improve at any stage. No matter how old you are. No matter how old your children are. Small changes in communication can produce remarkable changes in connection. What to say instead? So what should parents say? Instead of, "You should have listened to me," say, "I'm here for you." Instead of, "When I was your age," say, "Tell me more about what you're dealing with." Instead of, "That's not a real job," say, "What do you enjoy most about your work?" Instead of, "After everything I've done for you," say, "I love spending time with you." Instead of, "You're doing it all wrong," say, "Would you like my opinion?" These alternatives may seem simple, but simple doesn't mean insignificant. Words shape relationships. Every conversation either builds trust or weakens it. Every interaction either invites openness or encourages distance. The choice is often found in the language we use. Final thoughts. Being the parent of an adult child is one of life's greatest transitions. For years, your role was to protect, guide, teach, and correct. But adulthood changes the relationship. Your child no longer needs a manager. They need a partner in conversation. They need encouragement more than control, understanding more than judgment, connection more than correction. This doesn't mean staying silent. It doesn't mean abandoning your wisdom. It means sharing that wisdom in ways that preserve dignity and respect. The goal is not to win arguments. The goal is to maintain relationships. Years from now, your adult children may not remember every piece of advice you gave them, but they will remember how they felt when they talked to you. They will remember whether they felt accepted, whether they felt respected, whether they felt safe enough to be themselves. And in the end, those feelings often matter more than being right. So before speaking, ask yourself, will these words bring us closer together, or will they push us further apart? Because the most powerful gift you can give your adult children isn't perfect advice. It's a relationship built on love, trust, respect, and understanding. And that is something worth protecting. If you found this message helpful, take a moment to reflect on your own conversations with your adult children. Sometimes a small shift in language can create a profound shift in connection. Thank you for watching, and remember, the strongest family relationships aren't built through control. They're built through respect, understanding, and unconditional love.